Morning everyone. So today we will be discussing about the educators' opportunities in this time of pandemic. Despite the overwhelming consequences of the pandemic, this global crisis has also been an extraordinary time for learning. We are learning how adaptable and resilient educational systems, policymakers, teachers, students, and families can be. In this webinar, we will focus on the educators' opportunities amidst this pandemic. But before we proceed to the discussion proper, let us understand first how pandemic changed the role of teachers. The role of teachers is rapidly evolving, becoming in many ways more difficult than when learning took place only in person. So, the two crucial factors have shifted due to the pandemic. First, pedagogical adaptations have proven to be pivotal as the traditional lecturing in person models do not translate to a remote learning environment. So, no matter the type of channel used in radio, TV, mobile, online platforms, and etc., teachers need to adapt their practices and be creative to keep students engaged as every household has become a classroom. More often than not, without a learning environment that supports learning. Second, the pandemic has recalibrated how teachers divide their time between teaching, engaging with students, and administrative tasks. So according to survey, 83% of teachers did not consider being prepared to teach remotely. 67% were anxious, 38% felt tired, and less than 10% were happy or satisfied. So the pandemic has highlighted the need for flexibility and more time for student-teacher interactions. So for example, teachers were given autonomy to adjust the curriculum, lesson plans, and their time allocation. Although there have been overwhelming challenges for educators, there are several opportunities created by the COVID-19 pandemic for the unprepared and the distant plans of implementing the learning system. So when the school year started, I never liked hearing that infamous word phrase that teachers also often hear from, shall we say, jealous folks who are not in the profession and do not understand the struggle of a teacher. In reality, during the pandemic, teachers do not spend their days sleeping in, lying on a bed, watching Netflix, K-drama series, and movies. In reality, teachers are busy spending quarantine days preparing for learning materials to be given to the students. As we gain more experience as a teacher during this time, we put a lot of effort into finding ways to work smarter and not just harder. Teaching is challenging because there will always be a list of things to do, but over those months, we realized the opportunities given to us by the pandemic in making us a more effective educator. So I have listed here the different opportunities and we will tackle them one by one. The first in the list is planning and preparing for the next school year. Preparation and planning are a critical component of effective teaching. Lack thereof will lead to failure. If anything, every teacher should be over prepared. So, good teachers are almost in a continuous state of preparation and planning. They are always thinking about the next lesson. The impact of preparation and planning is tremendous on the student side. So, a common misnomer is the teachers will only work for 7:30 to 5, but when the time for preparing and planning is accounted for, the time increases significantly. So, as we all know, planning every detail of a unit without knowing your students' ability levels and learning styles is difficult. So even if you research your class list, there is no way to know if or to what degree students will regress over this pandemic. So still, you can plan most of a unit to fit the needs of the majority of your students. So once the school year starts, you can differentiate the material for students who have special needs. The next opportunity is the opportunity to prepare your walls and bulletin boards. If you are fortunate enough to be staying in the same classroom next year, then you may also be fortunate enough to take advantage of the opportunity to set up your wall space. They always recommend starting with a blank slate at the start of the school year. But you also want it to be inviting. Hanging fabric and bulletin board trim on your boards will provide a colorful backdrop for the first day of school and make it easy to start displaying anchor charts and student work right from the start. You can also set up your schedule area, a birthday board, calendar, and any other year-long displays. Some teachers enjoy having their current class created a welcome board for the incoming students. So, in designing the classroom or your bulletin boards or the walls, think of a theme for your classroom that coincides with the learning material for your grade. Brainstorm ideas for how you want the class to be set up, where you want to display student work, or have reading zones or relaxation or quiet stations. Do you want your room to be full of bright or bold colors, or do you want more subdued or calming tones? Do you want a modern, techy vibe or a more organic and earthy feel? Whatever you decide, make your classroom a place the students and of course you will love to be. The teacher has the opportunity now to declutter and rearrange the classroom. So seriously, we do not need to save every scrap of construction paper and half-used workbook. So we have now the chance to declutter the room, rearrange the classroom, and recycle the unneeded materials. So having an organized learning space will keep students on task and focused and save you time and money by enabling you to quickly find what you need. So we can also now consider a new room arrangement. So a well-planned room arrangement assists with classroom management and instruction. So for example, teachers who incorporate a lot of group work often arrange their students' desks into pods of 4 and 5. It is always important that teachers fight complacency and branch out of their comfort zones. You can do this by considering a new arrangement for your room. The next opportunity is the opportunity to fine-tune the procedures and routines. So strong classroom management is essential to student learning, and the key to good management is to plan, practice, and implement procedures and routines for everything. So think about the things that are running in your classroom now and identify areas that could be improved. So this pandemic gives us time to experiment with new routines and traffic flows until we find the ones that are most effective. So prepare a classroom routine journal by writing all the steps for everything you do. So you can also include photos or better yet video about the current class modeling those routines. So you can show the videos to the new class as you teach the procedure so they visualize the expectations and make them a habit. So this also gives us opportunity to create our rules. So we can put together the list of classroom rules to go over on the first day of school. So considering writing these rules on a big poster board and displaying them as a reminder for students. You'll also come up with more rules as the class regarding how to treat peers and being inclusive and respectful. Moreover, this pandemic is a great opportunity to review curriculum and create lesson plans. Try to get your hands on the next year's curriculum as early as possible. Review curriculum with mentors or peers and see how they are planning on changing things up next year. Start researching and brainstorming lesson and learning activities. The beginning of the school year is always a little hectic. You're getting to know new students, you're meeting parents, you're trying to get everyone acclimated to being in a new class. To keep focused and organized in the midst of chaos, it is a good idea to create lesson plans for at least the first 2 months of the school. Since we have spare time, we can also print new learning materials. So we all know that instructional materials are one of the effective tools in the learning process. So it is now our time to look, create, and print these materials for the future students. So we also know how fun are bright and colorful games, which also teach the students a lot of new concepts. So print and organize the general classroom resources that we know that we will use with our class. So this might include some of the literacy and numeracy games, bingo cards, board games, educational posters, and positivity posters. This pandemic is a great opportunity for teachers to study the new technology, especially the ICT. It is a perfect time to set up the tech stuff that the teacher will use with the class in the new school year. So if the teachers are using a digital parent communication tool, setting up the account that they need in advance will reduce the item on the back-to-school to-do list. So teachers may be setting up tech-based communication and learning experiences using Google Classroom, Twitter, Facebook, and Messenger. Also, technology interventions should enhance teacher management and engagement with students through improved access to content, data, and networks, helping teachers better support student learning as laid out in the platform of education, where effective use of technology is one of the key principles to ensure cadres of effective teachers. This pandemic also gives a perfect opportunity for teachers to reflect. So did you ever spend a lot of time planning only to have it turned out to be ineffective? Yes, I know some of us experienced this. This can be a major disappointment for teachers. Now, we can use our extra time to reflect on what went well and what could be improved. Then, make the necessary adjustments. While it is easy to spend a fair chunk of this time doing things to prepare for the new year, it is also important to take some time to reflect on the year you have just finished. This time, in a peaceful reflection, is not a time wasted. In fact, when you spend time thinking about what went well this year and what did not, it will help you refine how you spend your time and efforts in preparing for the next school year. In this time of crisis, government and the Department of Education provide everything that will help teachers develop personally and professionally. There are a lot of webinars that we can attend to. Also, it is now our opportunity to attend graduate studies like what we are doing right now. They make everything available and easy for teachers who wanted to attend this class. So there is no hassle. The only problem here is the unstable internet connection. There are also some areas in which teachers cannot be overtrained, such as STEM, how to use technology in the classroom management, and how to integrate subjects. This time or this pandemic is the perfect time to attend a workshop on one of these topics or other topic that interests you. So if you cannot find the right workshop, then you can indulge in self-study by reading professional books or journal articles. Set aside 20 to 30 minutes a day solely for this purpose. This pandemic is a great opportunity for you to get inspired again. You can go back to the question, what made you want to be a teacher in the first place? You may feel burned out at the moment, but you chose this profession for a reason. You can get inspired again, and this is your opportunity to meet with memories, read books or articles, learn something new, do anything that ignites your creativity and makes you motivated to be an inspirational teacher again. Finally, and most importantly, this pandemic gives time for teachers to relax. Yes, teachers have a lot to do, but they also need to take care of themselves. Whether it's sleeping in, getting a massage, spending time with family, working out, or catching up on horrible and amazing TV shows, they need to stop and regroup. It was a stressful year, and teachers deserve some serious kudos for putting their heart into helping students learn. Now, it is time to do something just for themselves before they hit the ground and start running again. Just remember, teaching is one of the most impactful profession out there, shaping our youth to be awesome and smart. Good luck in getting ready for the next school year. Thank you for listening. God bless and keep safe.